This video is brought to you by Big Bad Toy Store. Make your purchases through my personal link in the description to help out the channel. Furthermore, if you want to support me more directly, you can check out my YouTube channel membership for fun emojis and sneak peeks, or my Patreon. Links in the description. Okay, so back to the Arkham stuff. This is Grundy, and a lot of complaints about this figure is that he's too small. And as you can see here, yes, he is very much indeed too small if you compare him to the game model where he's like literally twice as big. But I honestly don't really like that version of Grundy. Like, I don't mind him being a bit bigger, but I think this is actually a really good height for Grundy. So in terms of the height, I'm actually quite happy. Also, in general, I think this figure is pretty good. I'm not really a fan of these like just orange chains. I feel like they should have been just painted metallic, and I feel like the joints are a little bit loose. But other than that, I think it's a really good looking figure. However, as a personal little preference, one of my favorite animated Batman movies of all time is The Long Halloween, both part 1 and part 2. And Grundy in that movie is one of my absolute favorite iterations of the character. I don't particularly... It's not that he's bad in Arkham City, it's just that he's got nothing really going for him. So I found this amazing head cast online by 112B, and hello, my name is Brian. I'll put their Instagram links in the description. And this is a spot-on custom sculpt of Grundy from that movie, like based on his design. So I figured I would just make a custom head here. So the issue is that unfortunately this head is a little bit too big. Let's see. I don't know, it's just like a little bit too big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shave away a little bit of the chin. Then I'm going to prime it all black, and then we're gonna do the old painting it up to match this. And we're also gonna give this guy some paint because this belt looks atrocious. This bit here needs some dry brushing, and of course these chains need to be painted silver. So first I'm going to rough this up a little bit just to give the primer something to grip onto, because this head is cast in like, I don't really know what it's cast in, but it's really smooth, and I don't really think that it's gonna take paint very well. So we grit up the surface a little bit, and then we're gonna prime it with black, and then we're gonna try to match this gray as well as possible. And like I said, I'm also gonna shave off a little bit of the chin, but it's not gonna be too much, just to make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so I drilled a hole and I primed him completely black, and I also roughed him up a little bit to match the texture of the skin tone a little bit more. So I'm just gonna keep dry brushing gray, going lighter and lighter as time goes by to get some natural gradients. So I quickly realized that just normal grey isn't really cutting it here. It doesn't really match the original skin tone at all, so I add a little bit of green in there too, and that pretty much does it. Okay, so I think the skin tone has come along pretty well, so now we're gonna do some Ushabti bone on the teeth. So now when I'm doing the eyes, it's pretty much the same as I usually do when I do eyes, but Grundy's eyes here are really tiny, so it's a bit hard to get details quite right. But I just put some normal white in, and then I make a black dot, and then I try to give it some color by adding some blue in there, but I mess up and have to do it off cam, but I do eventually manage to fix it. So I decided to shave off some plastic from the brow line to make his eyes show a bit more, because I found them to be really hard to see. This also angles the brow a little bit so he looks a little bit more angry, but I don't really mind. Some Reichland flesh shade in the mouth. So there is a little bit of a contrast difference here, because my usual like dry brush job has some quite noticeable darker recesses, especially like here. I might just like even this out a little bit, but I also find the torso wrinkles here to be a little bit too, like, you can't really see them. So I'm just gonna apply this Vallejo black wash and see if I can make it look a little bit better. So just gonna brush over the entire thing. Probably should have taken off the jacket, but honestly I can't really be bothered. I'm never gonna display him without it anyway, so... Okay, so I just kind of realized that it would be really hard to dry brush on top of the black wash if I didn't remove the jacket, so here it is. But anyway, I'm just gonna dry brush the same skin tone I used on the head onto the body. So, some Baleo gunmetal. So the reason why McFarlane opted for orange chains is because in the game they're really rusty. So the way I like painting rust is just to cover everything in like a base, like metal, gunmetal, whatever, and then I'll just give it a wash of Reichland Flesh Shade. So that's gonna make it like a bit brownish red, and we're gonna be quite generous with it and just kinda do it like so. Got a little bit on Grundy's arm, but not to worry, I can just neat that up in a bit. But you see how we instantly get this kind of almost like coppery look. So he's pretty much complete now, but I want to dry brush some lighter bits here towards the edges. Actually, I might just dry brush the entire thing. Yeah, this looks better. So, almost completed, but I thought the chest area looked a bit lackluster, and I decided that in the movie he has a noose tied around his neck, and I think this will just like help fill it out a little bit better. So yeah, tying a makeshift noose. I can't really make it look very good. It looks more like a really thick scarf rather than, you know, a hangman's noose. I'll try it with this band here instead. Okay, so my hangman's noose is complete, and I'm really happy with it, and it looks really adorable. So yeah, we're gonna put it on like so. I don't want it too tight because I still want to. I don't want it too tight because I still want the rope to show and all that. So the issue now is that the noose itself is a little bit too clean looking, so I'm just gonna go in with some of this snakebite leather contrast paint, and I'm just gonna like... What am I doing? Let's just take this off. So here is Grundy completed, and it's funny, what was originally supposed to be just like a quick head swap and a repaint video, it turned out to be a lot more substantial than that, because pretty much everything on Grundy here is completely repainted. Like all the skin, the detailing, like these little copper metal thingies, the chains, the belt, the pants, the skin tone, this little noose I custom made. Here's the original head for comparison. Like I said, I really love the animated adaptation of The Long Halloween, and that's my favorite version of Grundy. I think he's just fantastic in it, and I really like this design for him. So I'm super happy to finally have this guy here in my collection. I know he's not really accurate to any version of Grundy because I added the noose, and because this is essentially just the Arkham City Grundy with the Long Halloween head. But I think it makes for a really good, you know, like... I think it just makes a really good, like, randomized version of Grundy, because I think it very much keeps his entire character in hand. So I don't really mind it. He's also, like I mentioned earlier, too small to be an actual Arkham City Grundy, because Arkham City Grundy needs to be, like, at least like this much bigger. So I think the scale works out really well. He's still obviously a lot bigger than Batman, but he's not like this big, which I never really liked in the game, and I don't think he's ever really been that big in the comics anyway. So one more time, we can have a little close-up of the heads. Really, really love this, like, kind of primitive looking head. I think the paint job turned out really, really good. And here's the original Arkham City head, which I actually really like, but I don't know, I love this. So thank you for watching, and Merry Christmas. So thank you for watching, and probably Merry Christmas, because I think this is the last video I'm gonna do that's gonna be out before Christmas. So take care and have a fantastic holiday.
Solomon Grundy.